As training camp continues, we got to talk about the McFlurry, Brian Fleury, the new offensive coordinator, and what he's doing for the squad. Because there's sound bites galore now about how his offense is starting to look and how the process is going. Now that the pads are on, people are hitting, people are tackling, people are, doing football stuff, as we are supposed to talk about here on Seahawks Digest. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of the show that is going to apologize in advance for large blocks of text, but it's all good news, and we've got to kind of unpack it all because, yes, we're the returning Super Bowl champions. Yes, we have most of our players back, but with something as big as a new offensive coordinator, there is a massive question mark as to what this season is going to be. And granted, I don't think that that's a question of whether or not the offense is going to be good, but I think that it is unlikely that the offense is going to look identical as it did to last year. Might produce as much. It might produce more. It might produce, like I said, let's start to unpack all of it. I'm also supposed to tell you guys all like, subscribe, comment, share, all of those different YouTube-y type buttons. You know what to do here. Like I said, the headlines, they are everywhere. Like there's multiple, it seems like now that there's a sample size coming out with what the offense actually looks like, we're starting to hear more and more from people. Let's start just with a quote from Coach Macdonald and what the boys are looking at right now. Quote, the play calling is going to be different, Macdonald said. I mean, he goes and tries to copy what Clint did. We're going to be in trouble. That's the last thing we want. We did a lot of great things last year, but that was that team, and Clint was making those decisions for that team. Okay, I'm in. I let me consider me curious about what we have to give him, free up the space to operate rather than be like, hey, we have to do this. Macdonald said the principle of how we play, that's my job to make sure we play in a certain way, but schematically how we build it, how we attack, how we game plan, all those things, he's going to do a great job of orchestrating that. And I think it's certainly an interesting thing to bring up the Clint Kubiak offense and say, hey, this, like I had said, that this is a lot of those pieces, but you're not going to make them fit together in the same way as last year. I love that as a core, like just underlying statement of confidence of saying, look, just flush that all out. I, being Coach Macdonald, I'm going to get everybody in the right general place and direction, but I'm going to be hands-off and just let Fleury come in and do his thing and create and generate offense in his own way. I certainly think that it is it can be hard to want to see something as great as last year's offense or any unit. If this was the defense, if this was just something like to see a great unit come back after a good year and want to do anything other than just say, oh, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The quotes from Macdonald continued, and we're just heaping on praise for Fleury. So he can sit there and see the offense through everybody's perspective, including the quarterbacks. He's got a great feel for quarterback play and what he expects from our quarterbacks on a play-in, play-out basis. So it's been great. The quarterbacks, plural, adding an S onto that, I think is generous. I would assume there's not going to be a ton of offense drawn up for anybody other than Sam Darnold. Now, the Jalen Milroe, is he going to run some RPO? Sure. Yes, there might. Would not surprise me if there is an available wrinkle or two mixed in. But the pluralizing that, I think, is generous. It's going to be run through Sam Darnold. But to be sitting here and complimenting and say that he sees all the parts of the offense, I think is as big of a tell as we're going to get as to how well this guy is fitting before we're going to actually see like real quantitative, qualitative football being played. And I would argue that even necessarily like the start of the preseason isn't going to fully tip, because what do you get a drive with the ones and some of it is heavily scripted, et cetera, et cetera. But to be sitting here and seeing that the head coach is saying, look, this guy sees everything from when he got here. It's been all good news, but it's been some changes to the running backs room, some additions and restructuring with the wide receivers. And to have all of that coming together in a manner that is generally supportive and positive of what he's doing, I think is great. Quotes didn't just end, though, with Coach Macdonald. We got one from Cooper Cupp. I don't know why I said it specifically like that, but he talked about how Fleury's system, he used the word complacency, and how he's not, it's good that there's enough of a challenge of new things that are added to the guys. You have to stay on top of stuff. The danger is you fall into just feeling like you're running the exact same thing and you get complacent. So there's new enough things that keep people on their toes, and it's forcing you to get into your book. It's forcing you to ask questions and forcing you to understand and master what we're doing. I've enjoyed the challenge of that. I dig this. Look, even if Cooper Cupp is saying that they're switching to the wing T, and that's why this is a whole new offense that none of us have ever run before. Okay, sure. But if it's potentially what we had been somewhat alluded to of Fleury is great at pre-snap motions and little wrinkles here and dragging this guy across and flexing a tie. I feel like Dennis Rodman in The Last Dance. What's the shop? So sorry if I'm doing somewhat disjointed commentary there, but you get what I'm saying. It seems like it's all good news. I think it's good news to see veteran guys dialing in, saying, hey, we're engaged and we're really seeing the vision. It's great news to see a coach that historically has been more inclined to just involve himself on the defense continue to say, hey, we're leaving that to be his thing. And I think that also in all of this, seeing it through the quarterback's lens is ultimately going to be fantastic, because really, more than anything, if we are to believe that all the stars have aligned correctly, it's Sam Darnold's team. It's Sam Darnold's league. He is somebody who has gone through the fire and come out the other side now and is ready to be, I think he's already our franchise quarterback, but he's ready to be like a franchise quarterback. And so to go from one offense to the other is sometimes a challenge, but it's also sometimes an opportunity. And I think for Darnold, it is both, but it is more opportunity than it is challenge, just given the amount of turmoil and turnover and change that he has had from team to team, from coordinator to coordinator. I think that he's ready to handle this. But if it's a guy like this coming in and really dialing people in to the right positions to do the right things, that's got me excited. 10 out of 10. All right, that'll do it for today on Seahawks Digest. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to another episode. Like, subscribe, comment, share are all YouTube buttons that I'm supposed to tell you to press every single episode. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. We are 8 minutes now closer to the start of the NFL season. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys soon.